Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 245 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, with co-host Zack Carlson. This is your dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. Hey, Zack.
Hey, so you still left the weekly part off, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's just not any going back at this point, is what it is.
Jake's busy junk schedule.
Yeah. So Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. You can check out the Patch of the Month Club over at patriotpatch.co. Also added some new signs to the catalog over there. You can get 4 rules of gun safety, and then our classic I'm Your Huckleberry design in a aluminum sign now. So check it out, patriotpatch.co.
And I think I saw the pictures of the Patch of the Month Club preview. That one looks really cool.
Yeah, the sexy Lady Liberty.
Yeah, it's like a Ex Machina version of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones for sure. Yeah, Ryan did an awesome job on that one. So, yeah, and check out our Facebook page too. That's where I post Facebook, Instagram, Patriot Patch. That's where you can see the new designs first. So, I guess first we'll do a little bit of what we've been up to. I haven't been up to a ton as far as guns go, but we do have some listener feedback at the end of the show. We'll share a couple of those that we picked off the pile. So, Zack, how many guns did you buy and sell since the last time we recorded?
That's a good question, actually. I don't remember when we last I think we have to start remembering when we recorded last, but I don't think I've sold a gun. I'm putting a bunch of accessories up for sale, though. That is for sure. I started just going through my stuff as I feel like I'm getting junk creep, you know, when you just start looking around, you see like bins full of junk and you're just like, why do I still have this? Like, do I ever see a time that I really need this? Like, I had in my little bin, I had compensators for rifles. Do I ever foresee myself using compensators when I have enough suppressors for every gun now?
Well,
no.
Sometimes you just want to be heard. I mean,
yeah. Well, no, so I found a few of those and just random stuff. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Just, you start looking through stuff and I had some mags for guns I don't own anymore and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, well, why do I have these things?
Well, you have to buy those guns again. I mean, can't have it.
There's a reason I don't have them anymore. And like a lot of backpacks. I don't know where I came up with so many backpacks, but I've got range bags and backpacks coming out my bum hole here. And they really don't have a secondary market. That's the problem. Like, at least gun accessories and guns and all that, you could sell fairly easily. I don't see tons of people buying used backpacks.
Well, if they're not complete garbage, you could give them away on the show. Just saying.
I've output more money on this show than I've made. Yeah, I could. We should do some sort of, giveaway for them. Something a little more involved.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Maybe you can ship me a bunch of crap you don't want to deal with and I can do some bundles or something.
Yeah. You should just randomly give it to people that get patches. Just be like, I got a used backpack in my order. I'd like a refund.
There's some Snickers wrappers in it and some brown goo in the bottom.
You know, people should buy used backpacks though, because I remember I bought a JanSport backpack at a Goodwill a long time ago, and it was like $5, I think, and it had a $10 bill in the pocket. So I made money on that deal.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. I did go shooting last weekend.
What'd you shoot?
It was more. I did a big old Optics MerryGoRound. This is what I get frustrated with, because I feel like every time I go to the range, it's to sight something in, and you would think there would be a limited quantity of that, but
that seems like that's all you do. I mean, honestly,
I know that's what's so frustrating about it is like all my trigger time is sighting in optics. And I don't know why I do that, but like, you know, my Knight's Armament, it's a 16-inch gun, and I put that Trijicon ACOG on it. And I thought, this is the perfect setup for this. And I'm like, you know, I really do need a LVPO for it. And so I tested a 1-8 from my buddy on his gun, and I kind of like the magnification range. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I want a pretty expensive one, so I need to save for that one. So, but I pulled the ACOG off and I put it on my PWS, which only had a red dot on it before. And I put the red dot on a 45-degree offset mount on it. Because I bought that, you know, I don't know if I told you, I bought that RMR mount that goes on top of the ACOG. You know, in COD terms, it's the integral, hybrid integral. It's that method, whereas ACOG down low and RMR on top. And, it's kind of weird. I didn't like it that much. I don't know. For one, it didn't feel sturdy, because this mount, you know, the ACOG right by your eyepiece has these two little posts coming off the side, like tabs that are threaded. And then you put this little U-shaped plate system on top of it, and then 2 bolts go down into that. And then, you know, it's basically like a diving board off there. And then there's a little bit of gap between the rest of the body and there. And there's 2 set screws that you just lower until they make contact. So it just didn't feel super sturdy.
Yeah.
And you don't need to get a cheek weld. You need to literally put your chin on top of the buffer tube. At least I do in my gun. And so I was like, this does not feel right. So then I thought, well, maybe the 45-degree mount is the way to go. And so I had a Daniel Defense 1 o'clock mount, which I don't think is the right mount for the situation. I think now that I've proved the theory, I might need to look at a real actual 45-degree mount system for it, because when I'm holding the stock and the gun with the ACOG, you know, to my eye, and then the theory is you should just be able to rotate the gun counterclockwise and the optic is right there. Well, for whatever reason with this mount, I don't know if it's too close to the bore axis. Maybe I think it might be actually meant for more of a flashlight, cause it's really close to the rail. I mean, it's 1 o'clock, so it's theoretically in that 45-degree-ish range, but it feels like I have to bear down on the gun a little bit more than I should. And the buttstock is like digging into my bicep because I'm rotating more than I think I should be. And weirdly enough, I was shooting it, and like my eye was right behind the ejection port, and I felt like I was just getting spit in the face with gas, like right down there. So I don't think this is what people are all raging about, how awesome the 45-degree is. So before I just kick that idea to the curb too, I think I really do need to put a proper 45-degree mount on there. So if anybody has a recommendation of one they like, I've looked at a few. The Arasaka is probably what I would be going with. It's got one. It's like a mount and pedestal system. So you have like the plate and then the stem and mount that goes on there. And you can change it from, I think, 35 and 45 degrees. So it has like a little interchangeability to it. And then if you change optics, you can buy just the plate part of it for different optics if you want. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I think I should give it a shake. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to pull the ACOG off and put the RMR back on its own mount and just be done with it. But I don't know. You don't do this. You seem to just buy nothing, and then you have to shoot nothing, and then you never have this problem. But it seems like.
See, I don't even get to the point of sighting something in. I get to the point of function testing something, and then just blasting into my dirt pile, and then I'm good. So there's no need to sight in for that.
That is true. I feel like I'm getting stuck in this rut of chasing better. And at some point,
Zack, no.
Well, yeah, I don't know how do you break that cycle other than just settling? I don't like settling. I'm not a settler. I'm a pioneer.
It seems like you go like to the nth degree to the best of the best, and then you're like, nah, that's not worth it. That's that. And then you go back.
Yeah, but how do you skip those steps? It seems like you have to go through those steps.
Well, I think that's true for a lot of things. You buy like a really good TV, and then you're like, I need to, get, the next level up or the next 5 levels up or something. And then you get that and you're like, well, it's better, but is it, that much better? Well,
and I do understand that there is a law of diminishing returns, and you're not every when you get into optics, there's a sweet spot really with optics. Let's not even say LVP, just regular rifle scopes. Like there's really is a sweet spot around that $1,000 to $1,500 retail price point. Those are like, there's a really good bulk of optics that are all really good. And then if you go to $2,500 or $3,000 retail price points, you're getting a better scope. There is no doubt about that. But is it double better? No, it's not. You start going really diminishing. But you kind of have to see for yourself. Like there's only so much of this stuff you can just read about. And all these optics, like they're not in stores around me. I mean, like you can't go to a store and see them and play with them and get experience with them.
You know why I think you really need, Zach? I think you need professional help. This could be like a new niche market though, because I don't think it exists. But like a Second Amendment gun guy therapist that can walk you through and know what he's talking about or her in your builds and your never-ending quest for perfection.
To just help me pick the right parts right from the get-go is what you mean?
Well, no, I mean...
Like tell them what I need and then they'll tell me the optic that I need?
No. I think he'll dive a little deeper into your childhood and why you think you need to continue going down this road of perfection in your firearms and maybe how that stemmed from a Nerf gun you lost or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm taking the G.I. Joe model where just knowing is half the battle.
Right.
I don't think we actually have to do anything about it. As long as you know that it's a problem, it's like, well, whatever. It's like, hey, I got this tumor. I know it's there. It's fine.
Yeah. They say the first step is awareness. And if you don't take any steps after that, I guess you're fine.
What I really, really need, and maybe a listener knows of this that I just haven't found yet, is a optics rental company. Like they rent optics for cameras. Like you can rent every lens for a DSLR that you want. Yeah. The thing I think I brought this up to my buddy Dan and he did make a good point. And he's like, well, they're probably worried about like people crushing them and not mounting them properly to the rings and all that. But I was like, well, maybe if they knew what gun it was going on, they could just send you a ring set with it that is already ideal, for the gun, and then you don't worry about it. But I actually I did a cursory search on this and I found rentals for night vision and thermal. Cause that's another thing is like $10,000 thermal, like, or a $5,000 night vision. Like, how do you make that informed decision unless you have friends that ponied up for it and you can go out and use it? But like, I saw a place, I think it was usnightvision.com. I think it was like $200 for a 3-day rental for night vision. So you could, but those are like $5,000 night vision. So it's like, if I was ready to do it, and then they said the key part was 100% of the rental went to a purchase. So that's kind of cool. So you can rent it for $200. If you like it and you're ready to pull the trigger, then go for it and put that towards your thing. I think that's a good idea, but I haven't found it for optics. Yeah,
that's a pretty good model. I wouldn't think it would be any different for optics though, because, for camera lenses, there's got to be people that drop them in ponds and do all kinds of crazy stuff with those rentals. I mean, it's all part of it's like car rentals. It's all part of the thing. Some get beat up and crashed and you got to work that into your business model. But I don't know, maybe there's just not the cameras are just like such a bigger market than firearms optics, I would guess.
True. Yeah.
So might just be the market.
I guess I just need to find a good one that has a good return policy and buy it and return it. I mean, I think that I've read people doing that. I've never been a returner. I'm not a returner on anything. Like I'll throw something away before I return it, unless it's a damn good reason and it's really expensive. But I typically really do the research on the buy side, not on the return side.
I mean, isn't it good enough, Zach, to go into, is it Bass Pro or Gander Mountain that have all the scopes on these fake stocks that you can hold up in the store? And
yeah, so you can see how it looks in a halogen lit building that's about 100 and some yards long. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's better than nothing because you get a feel for all the turrets and everything. That's a big part of the deal. Yeah. But no, I mean, a lot of it, I mean, I do that at SHOT where, SHOT, they have all the displays and that is the best time for me to look at optics is SHOT NRA because both of those shows have most of the big name optics companies there and they all are on display and you get a really good feel for it, but it's not the same, but it really narrows it down. But I don't know if I want to wait till January, and who knows if there's even going to be a shot. I mean, everything SHOT says is, yes, we're full bore, we're doing this, and it's going to be, socially distant, one-way aisles, and hand sanitizers everywhere, and masks required. I'm just like, okay.
One-way aisles, really you'd never get through you'd never get through 5% of it if it was one-way aisles.
The only thing I can think is maybe they're going to limit people or registrations. I don't know, but they are moving into the Caesars Forum too. So they're going to have a boatload more space. So maybe if they keep the same amount of people, but this increase the space so much, maybe it'll thin out just by natural
selection.
I don't know. I was trying to find a better word than that, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, what I want, I think, well, I don't know. And I go crazy too, because I'm like, okay, I got this 16-inch carbine. It's great. I actually did buy a Surefire light, the same light that's on my PWS. And then I realized, oh darn, on a 16-inch gun with a long rail, I don't want to use the clicky cap on the thing because I don't want to hold it that far out. So, cause on my PWS, I can just put the regular push button on the back and it's right there because it's got a shorter rail. It's only 11-inch barrel. So I was like, dang, and then the only switch I have is one of the little dual corded switches because I had the IR laser before, so I had it one on each, and I was like, okay, that switch doesn't work, so I ordered a switch. This is how these things come about. This is how you get a junk drawer full of junk. So I have a Surefire dual switch that I don't use because I don't have an IR laser right now, and then I bought a single switch, but the single switch I bought was the only one that was in stock at the time, but it doesn't have the little cable management or rail mount, so it's just a self-adhesive, stick-on mount. And it's fine. It should work. I have it zip tied on there right now just to make sure. But really, I want the one that has a little rubber clamp that just clamps on the pick rail. But that one's out of stock, of course. And it's double the money for whatever reason. So I know eventually when that one comes into stock, I'll be ordering that one. And then I'll have yet another switch in the junk pile waiting to be sold eventually. This is how it happens.
See, you just need to settle for stuff like zip ties work, Zach. I mean, they're God's gift to creation, zip ties.
It does work. It did work. Yes, I'll give you that. It did work. And then I shot the M16 this weekend, and it had a Palmetto State Armory 10.5-inch barrel on it, and with the Innovative Arms grunt and the Arrow rail, it had like a 3/4 of an inch gap between the suppressor and the rail. And I was like, man, I got this 11.5-inch barrel here. I could just have my buddy Dan cut down and make the gap 0. So now that barrel got all pulled apart and that barrel is now getting threaded. So then this weekend I'm supposed to swap the barrel back in and then it should look good and everything. And then I'm going to have this other 10-inch barrel, or 10.5-inch barrel laying around. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I should build another upper with that or something. And this is how the madness perpetuates itself.
I see no problems because,
because you're not spending any of the money.
Well, I'm spending money just more in the car world where, yeah.
That's even worse depreciation than guns.
It's terrible. Well, no, I buy them so junky that there's no depreciation left. I mean, they're at the bottom, so there's nowhere else you can go.
That's what you think. But you got to take into account all the money you've put into these cars. So tell everybody about these crap boxes you keep buying.
No, I'd rather not. No.
Are these investment cars?
Of course.
They're collector's items. They're 82 Tornado.
Oh, the 82 Tornado that I got for like $730 is a collector's item. I mean,
well, how did you settle on 730?
Well,
did you haggle over that?
They're asking $750, and I couldn't get them any lower than $730.
You guys argued over $20.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I mean, this car is pretty cool. Yeah, it ran and everything. It was actually very, very sentimental to them because it was an older couple about our parents' age, and so it's an 82, and they've had it since 1984. And they've always kept it inside and everything, but they haven't driven it for the last 16 years, or not, a regular basis. It hasn't been plated in 16 years, but I guess he's taking it out and stuff regardless of that.
Why do people put vehicles in garages that they don't drive for 16 years?
Same reason people have gun safes full of guns they haven't ever shot.
But I don't get it. Like the car is depreciating. I wonder what it was worth 16 years ago in good condition. Like if it was, if whatever condition it was at that point,
probably
it had to be more than 750. I would hope.
I don't know. I mean, those cars, like the 80s, 70s and 80s cars like that, they were really cheap when we were in high school. Cause they were so big compared to everything else and no one wanted them.
My parents had a Tornado. Just like that. That's the big V8 front wheel drive, right? Yeah.
So this is, the first front wheel drives that GM Oldsmobile put out. Yeah. Just huge. And get this though. This one's a diesel.
Is it the 307 diesel?
No, it's the 350 diesel. It's a 5.7 diesel. And so this is a diesel that killed, diesel motors for GM for 30 years because
this is non-turbocharged, correct?
Yeah, non-turbocharged. But so these came out in like the mid to late 70s was the first gen of this diesel, and I've got like the second gen that they fixed. But the first gen, they like bulletproof the bottom half, making it thicker and everything. But the top half they made just like the gas, but there's higher pressures and everything in diesels. So it was blowing head gaskets, it was blowing bolts off, and it was a big debacle for GM. And like, it was more than one thing too. Like the GM service techs had no idea how to work on this engine and stuff at the time. And there was like a bunch of terrible things going on with it. And so they got like class action lawsuits over it and everything. And, cause initially it sold well, cause this car with the diesel got 30 miles per gallon and in the 70s. Yeah. I mean, it's a big car and like nothing else was getting that kind of mileage back then. So that was huge, but GM just handled it very poorly and released it too soon. And with the poor design on the top end and it really killed diesel motors for GM for 3 decades. I mean, they didn't really come back out until the Duramaxes, came out in 99 or whatever.
Well, I remember when I was into all the big trucks and the K5 Blazers and all that, you could get in with that 6.2 or 6.5 diesel, and those were supposedly dogs. I mean, they were in the military vehicles, so that was kind of neat, but supposedly they were just dog crap slow and just, they didn't have any power.
They were, and they had mechanical issues too. They would break cranks and stuff, and like they weren't really great engines either. So, anyways, so I got this car because some of the Gambler 500 guys were going on this road trip with, old, classic cars. So it had to be 30 years old or older. And I'm like, well, I don't have anything that, falls in that category. Maybe I'll start looking on Facebook Marketplace because I'm always looking on Facebook Marketplace for vehicles. And so this was not the first one I found. I first found a 1985 Nissan. No. First I found a Ford Ranchero, which I went and test drove, and it turned out to be terrible. But the same guy, the same guy had an 85 Nissan 300ZX, which is like a classic Japanese sports car from, the 80s. And it was really cool. I mean, it was a complete pile, but it was really cool. I mean, so I ended up getting that, but then it turned out they had flipped it. The person before had flipped it, and the title I had it was actually the original title, but there had been a reprint of the title issued, so I couldn't transfer it because I didn't have the most recent title. And I'm like 3 degrees of separation away from even knowing the guy that had the original title, or that could request a reprint. So I'm like stuck with that car now. I might just part it out because the parts are really valuable on it because they're just not around anymore.
There's no recourse for the guy you bought it from then, right?
Sure, I could probably take them to the court and stuff, but I mean, that's going to cost more than the car is worth. So,
and how much did this car cost?
This one was $1,100.
Ouch. You could have bought a Knight's Armament. See, you could have had a really nice gun.
For $1,100?
Well, no. You could have had an upper. You could have had a nice, you could have had the lower.
I could have had like, a Colt.
Okay. I would have taken the Nissan too.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks that you got stuck with this car that you can't do anything with.
Well,
Can you at least like make it a shooting range car that you can like do drive-bys out of and drive it around?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I might just keep it for a fun car to biff around in and maybe take it to some kind of, circle track thing or something sometime. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, so that led me to looking for the Tornado, and then I got the Tornado and I wrenched on it for a week solid, and then the road trip no one else showed up for except the guy organizing it. And it was just him and his wife. And I'm like, this is just too weird because I couldn't find a co-pilot either. So it was going to be like this third wheel thing. So I said, you guys just go on the road trip as a couple's date and I'll do something else.
How long was this trip supposed to last?
3 days.
That's awkward.
Yeah, that would have been awkward.
Were you camping or hotels or what was the plan?
Hotels, yeah. But yeah, just
even all the
awkward.
Meals would have been just kind of strange.
But,
what did they bring?
This, he had, 80s, Firebird, which was pretty nice, actually. But.
And you got that for $500?
No, $500. No, it wasn't gambler cars. It was just classic cars with gambler guys.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So what does this, Tornado cost you?
Well, it was $730.
Oh, $730. But then you had to put money. You said wrenching on it for a week.
Oh, we don't. How
much? How many thousands of dollars have you invested in this?
I haven't looked at the receipts. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. Why? So you put more money than you actually paid for the car, probably into parts.
Maybe.
And what is the goal for this vehicle?
New
what are you
tires.
Do
So
you put new tires on this thing?
New tires, CV axles, the front hubs, all the ball joints, all the brakes, one of the brake calipers, rear springs, rear shocks. I did fix some wiring on it, some of the engine breathers, changed the oil. I fixed the radiator with some JB Weld stuff. What else? I did a lot of stuff to this car. I mean, and
I'm the one that needs professional therapy for.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a cool car. It's a cruiser though. I mean, the interior is like perfect. It's got leather seats and everything. The big, comfy, luxurious leather seats of the 80s. And it's a good ride.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know. I might turn it into a kid's car.
Your kids are not going to want to drive that thing.
Oh. They're going to drive whatever I give them to drive.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. I'm curious how much you got money. You got to have $1,500 in it.
Oh yeah, at least. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it's good that like the resale is probably like 800 or so. You at least get that out of it.
Well, if I fix a couple more things on it,
this is the sunk cost fallacy. I think there's a term for this.
I think I might be able to get out what I have into it. I think it'll book for around 18 or something. So, I got that going.
Okay, so you can buy a car, invest all your time, energy, and money, and then get out what you have in it. So and you're a successful business owner. This is what I'm not understanding.
This is my outlet. This is because I'm burned out on like firearms and stuff like that. So for the most part, this is my outlet.
Why don't you buy a Corvette like everybody else approaching midlife crisis?
Well, I bought an 80s Japanese sports car. I went down that road. Yeah. I already told you. It lasted a week. And then I did test drive a 85 Camaro, but it was a complete dog turd. And I don't see the appeal of, I like the outside of those bodies, but I don't really see the appeal of them.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those 80s and early 90s that are 305s too. And they're just like, why would you put the same size engine?
Well, this one was a V6 car originally, but they had put a 5.7 in it or 350, whatever. And the motor is great and everything, but and this was from a dealer. He was like, oh yeah, take it out. And I took it out. It went shift into third or fourth. So there was that.
With cars like that, the problem I have with them is, a decent example body wise around here, at least, goes for pretty decent money. I don't think you could get a decent looking one for under 7,000, maybe 7,000, somewhere in there. Yeah. And then the technology for the suspension and brakes is all so old that you can systematically upgrade. Yeah, you can put a ton of money in it, and it's just not to the level of like a commuter car that you could buy new. Like, you know, that's what I keep getting hung up on it, and that's tough.
I think you're right on with that price point. If you want a classic car, quote unquote, you're probably in at least 7, 8, upwards of 10,000. But looking, and I didn't want to spend that much money. One interesting thing looking around is that Corvettes, like 80s Corvettes right now, I think that's your best bang for your buck, because you can get an 80s Corvette that's beautiful for like $8,000. I've seen several of them just looking around. So I think that might be a pretty good place for someone to start, because like the late 60s, you know, Chargers and Roadrunners and like all those really cool late 60 cars have just gone up so much in the last, 5-10 years. It's just ridiculous.
Even the cars that you see like on Roadkill, like these clapped out muscle cars, like the junkiest cars that are embarrassing to even be seen in, they're spending quite a bit of money on those cars. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're not worth it, but it's like, I cannot see myself spending good money on a rust bucket that's going to need to do it right, like tens of thousands of dollars of investment to make a car that's even worth anything beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with any of them. They're just a money pit, and you're never going to realize your cost back out of it. And actually, the people I bought this car from, like, it was such a sentimental thing, the Tornado. And they were like, we're hoping to sell it to someone that's going to restore it. And I was honest with them. I'm like, no one's going to restore this because you're never going to get your money back out of it. It doesn't blue book for anything. I'm like, the diesel engine actually hurts it. And I said, what I can promise you is that I'm going to make it in a driver again and take it out on some adventures and do some stuff with it and, bring it back to the road. And I think that's really the best you can hope for a lot of, the quote unquote classic cars or,
You should make it a jumping car.
Well, I mean, this Tornado, so you mentioned, outdated suspension and stuff like that, but it has 4-wheel disc brakes and actually uses the same size pads in the front and back, which is cool. But, so that was ahead of its time. And then it's got coil springs and shocks in the back. And so it's got a fairly modern, pretty good suspension on it for what it is. So that it has that going for it. But
it's still a couch on like a boat frame.
Yeah, I mean, the front of this car is so long. The front of this car is like, I kind of feel like I'm in like Roger Rabbit or like, Batman from the 80s or, because the front of this car is just so ridiculously long.
My mom had a Tornado, just like what you're talking about. That's why I recognized it as soon as you saw it or showed a picture of it. But my grandpa had an 85 Buick Riviera, which is kind of a similar body style, front wheel drive V8, not a diesel, and he had a gold one. It was beautiful, but that was like in the late 90s or early 2000s that he had it. And that was a clean car there. And I remember he paid like $7 or so grand for it. I was like, man, that's a lot of money for a car. That's, it was like a body style behind at that point, because the Rivieras, also turned really rounded-y, like the newer ones.
Yeah.
But this was like the old, kind of like your Tornado. And I got an oil change this past weekend, and we walked by a bunch of car dealers while we were waiting for the oil change. And I just happened to see that exact same body style Riviera, and they kind of look like pimp cars now. Like, I can't imagine who's actually buying these cars, because they wanted $6,000 for it, as old as it is. And I was like, it's nice. I mean, the nice thing about the Pacific Northwest, and I don't know how South Dakota is, but nothing really rusts up here. So like, you can find old cars that are in really good condition. And I think they gather a lot more money than you would normally expect. But it's just like, I couldn't see, how $6,000 for a car that is still like carbureted. Like, to me, that is insane.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm just a fuddy-duddy.
Here stuff rusts really bad. Like, the place to buy cars, you're right, is Washington, Oregon, California.
Or the South.
Or the far South. I mean, a lot of the mid-South states get a fair amount of rust now because they use so much salt, even in Missouri and Tennessee and stuff. So you have to go like really far south, for, a lot of rust-free stuff. But, I'm jealous of the stuff, I see that people pick up out in Oregon and California and stuff. Just beautiful patina and everything. And, but, it's something fun to mess around with. And watching Roadkill really changed my perspective on this because, like, I used to want to, like, build everything to perfection. And now I'm just about building it so it gets back on the road and having fun with it.
I guess you just got to define what that fun is. Like, to me, it's like, well, this is more stress inducing, just knowing that any minute, like, a rod can be thrown through the block, or, like
that's just part of the adventure.
Yeah. Okay. And what does your wife think about all these things?
Well, see, my regular cars, I have to worry on a daily basis about a rod being thrown through the engine. So it's not really any different.
That's true. That's true. You probably never had a car that actually had a warranty. Well, no, you have. You used to buy new cars.
I bought a brand new 2006 Chevy Silverado crew cab back in.
That you were afraid to tell everybody about.
Back in the day. I paid. That was a 4x4 crew cab. And it had
blue. Yeah.
Had the 5.3 in it and everything. But it was at the height of, like, the fuel prices or right around there. So, like, this thing was a smoking deal. It was like $26,000 back then. And try buying the same thing now. You're like
70.
I mean, you're at least 15 more than that, I think.
Oh, you can't buy a 4-wheel drive good pickup truck for like under $40,000 or $50,000.
Yeah, I know.
Unless it's a crap box. Because that was a crew cab as well, I remember.
Yep.
Yeah. That you can't get a cheap vehicle like that. But you got to remember $26,000 when you had a mountain of debt and not a ton of income. So, like, that was a huge percentage of your income.
Yeah. No, and we sold it a year later to get out of debt and everything, and sold it, and I had a pretty new Impala at the same time I sold too. And then we moved down to, like, I think she moved to, like, a 99 Explorer, and I moved to, I don't know what I moved to, something, Bronco 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I remember she had the Explorer because I had the Explorer at the same time. But yeah, I saw a Bronco 2 that was just like yours, but it was all restored. It's over by this cement company, and I saw it on Craigslist the other day. They want $6,000 for a Bronco 2. Like, what? Does it come with rollover insurance too at that price or what?
I know. Well, the Bronco 2s are really hard to find now, though. But yeah, I've seen crazy prices on some of those. There was one, like, low mileage one I saw that they wanted over 10 grand for it. I'm like, they're just such a pile of junk. I mean, I like them. They're nostalgic and cool and everything, but they're just, there's nothing to them. I mean, there's just nothing redeeming about them mechanically. Anyway, so that's enough junk car talk. But
so basically what you're saying is you spent all your money on crappy cars and you haven't spent any money on gun stuff.
No, but I did start shooting a weekly trap league here in the local town.
What gun are you using for that?
Is it the Savage shotgun?
Stoger.
Or Stoger? That's right. Stoger M5000 or whatever it's called. 12 gauge.
But that's is that a trap type of gun or is that suited to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a bird gun. It's set up for upland game, it's set up for birds. So yeah, it works for trap. It is what it is. If I keep doing this, I might get something else. I don't know.
What are all the people that you're shooting with using? Are they using over-unders?
Just a huge variety. Variety. Like some of the more hardcore guys, they got really nice over and unders and everything. Cause you only need 2 shots. So over and unders, quick, no pumping, no malfunctions on them or anything like that. So this trap range or whatever, when I first looked at the house, I'd seen it on the map, and it's just on the edge of town, and it's on, like, this town is set up where all the sports fields, like the football field, the baseball fields, and there's a rodeo grounds and everything. It's all on the same east side of town, and then on the far east side of all that is this trap range. And this has been here since, like, the early 1950s. Like, it's been running ever since. So that's kind of some cool history. And then there's like a high school FFA team, and then there's really old guys doing it, and, like, the age mixture runs the gambit. And there's several women doing it and everything. And there's, like, 7 teams or something. I just started this the tail end of the season. They're shooting doubles now, and so doubles means it throws 2 at once. And the 4 weeks before this, they did the wobble singles where it was random whether or not it would throw high, low. It could throw from any. You didn't know where it was coming from, but just one came out at a time. And then before that was just singles where you yell pull, one goes out, and then you shoot it.
So how long does it take to shoot the 50 rounds? Like, how long are you there?
It's only, doubles goes really fast because you're shooting through the clays twice as fast because there's 2 coming out at once. So it's only about 15 minutes for your squad to.
Okay. So that's way quicker. I'm thinking it's like golf, like you're waiting for everybody and, okay. So 15 minutes. So you could pull into the parking lot, get set up in a half hour or less, you're done. Yeah.
I mean, some guys just run down there, shoot and leave. Other guys just hang out and shoot because there's 8 teams rotating through. So there's a lot of people coming and going, but I think the regular rounds might be closer to 20 or 25 minutes because you're just shooting one bird at a time. So it goes slower.
And is the score just, however many out of 50 you can hit?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the first time I did it I hit 24 out of 50. And then this last time I did it even worse. I hit 21 out of 50. But like some of the guys I've been shooting a while, like they're not doing a ton better than that. So,
and then you just chop the barrel off so it's got an open choke.
Well, I thought about bringing my coach gun, but no, it's something to do, something I get to know different, people in the area and everything. I mean,
is it daylight only, or do they have like lights for nighttime shooting?
No, it's daytime only. It starts at 6 and it ends at 9:30. I guess that might be. They do have lights there. I guess maybe the late shooters at this time of year might be because I'm earlier in the evening on the schedule, so I haven't shot late.
Is it all year round, or is it snow fly? Is it done?
Well, next week is the last week, so they go from June 1st through the end of August. So,
it doesn't seem like very long. It's only 3 months.
To me, it really shows me how much I stink at shotgun shooting because part of it is me being nervous and stuff, but like part of it is just not following through and not lining up my bead exactly correctly every time and not having my cheek weld correct every time. Like, so, for me, it's good because it gets me into maybe building some muscle memory into actually shooting a shotgun correctly. Whereas I've never shot a shotgun enough in my life to, do any of that.
Yeah. I mean, we used to do it over at your dad's house and that was fun, but it's, shotgun shooting is not as easy as you would think. You think, it's got a spread to it and just hit it. But no, you have to actually lead it. You have to follow through. The trigger pulls are not like a rifle. You almost have to slap the trigger or jerk the trigger. I think that's what a lot of people say. I don't know. I'm not a good shotgun shooter either.
Yeah. Well, here, slap the trigger, Zack said.
I think you do. I think you just pull it's not like one of those things where you want it to be I think I might be talking out my butt here too, but I was always told on shotguns, it's not like you're, pulling until it goes off and to be surprised by it like a regular rifle or pistol shot. I think you kind of get it on and pull through. And I could be totally wrong on that. I'm not a shotgun guy.
For me, I'm not even thinking about the trigger. If the bead's anywhere close to that bird, I'm yanking that trigger because that's my only chance.
Oh, yanking it. You heard it here. Jake says yank. Why don't you put an RMR on that gun?
I thought about it.
Scholarworks makes the mounts for him.
I thought about it. Yeah, because they're not real strict. So let me go through like showing up to this thing. So I had a windshield repaired at the local body shop, and that guy invited me out to do it, to shoot on his team because they're always short a guy or two, it seems like. But like I get there and like the first time and like he's running late. So I'm like, just like, I tell everyone, I'm like, I'm completely new. I have no idea what I'm doing and everything. And like, they're just like, kind of like, okay, whatever. It's like, there's like no gun safety talk. There's like no like this is what you do. This is like the procedure. No, they just throw you up on the shooting line and figure out that hopefully you know enough about guns to like figure out how to point it in the right direction and shoot.
I would hope so. Do they? I wonder. Yeah, that's. Oof. I get it. I guess if you're coming in with a thing, but now you should roll up with your Tornado next time, and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, yikes!"
Oh, I did last time.
Did you?
I did, but this is South Dakota. I mean, half the cars out there are like from the 80s, so there's that.
Okay. So when your shotgun costs more than your car?
No, what gets you respect out here is rolling out in my 95 Ford F-250 Power Stroke OBS. That's what gets you respect.
Okay. I would think hitting the targets gets you more respect, but I guess not. Or you tell me when you do that, and then you see if you get more respect.
Yeah, let me figure out how to hit the targets first. And
how much does it cost every time you go out there?
it's only $5, so.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
That's pretty cool. There's some shotgun clubs around here, and I've never really considered it, but yeah, I didn't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, me neither. But I mean, it takes me like 5 minutes to get there, and especially for the doubles, shoot for 15 minutes. The whole thing is like half hour, so that's pretty cool.
And it's a box of shells. It's not really
2 boxes.
much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're 25. Yeah, I guess they're 25 a box. Yeah.
Yeah. Super cheap, super easy to do. Oh, so anyways, you mentioned like what shotguns people use and everything. Like there's guys that use just rusted up, pump shotguns that they just take out of the back window and shoot, and then they get back in their truck and put it back in their back window. And like some of those guys are really good. Like they're really good. Like this is pheasant country out here, so everyone pheasant hunts and everything. And then, there's guys with like $5,000 over and unders. And then there's guys with, just autoloaders like I got, or just, I mean, it runs a whole gambit of what people bring out. So that's, like no one cares what you're shooting and anything like that. And so that's cool.
I mean, do you wear your plate carrier and helmet, or does it just, is this like not that game?
Yeah. Yeah, they looked at me funny when I rolled up with my nods and everything. And
ooh, you got the panos. Do you guys have EPA over there by you?
Nowhere. No pistol sports whatsoever anywhere.
Interesting.
Not even cowboy action anywhere.
Well, that's surprising.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is a cowboy, so they get enough action, I guess.
Maybe that is their action sporting. Well, that's cool. That's pretty nice. I don't know if I would do it or not. I don't know. But I think anything would be fun because it's more about the camaraderie and the friendships and that kind of stuff that you just happen to be shooting. It's kind of like golf, right? I mean, golf's boring as crap, right?
I mean, you got to know who the gun guys are, so when it's time to form the militia, you know where to go, right?
Do you start asking them slyly about their preps and stuff? Be like, hey, so what channel are you on the radio comms?
They're like, what?
Yeah. Oh, never mind. I just that was a test.
It's more about how the beans are looking and how tall the corn is, and I haven't learned that code yet. That's a code they're using though.
You should know that. You should already know that. Did you ask them all like, are you a cop? Cool. Well, that's exciting. So I haven't done any of that.
So yeah, no, you should go try something like that. Anyways, couple other things. So I'm going to get going on that 1022 build with the longer Enoch chassis here. Cause before I talked about how I lost the screws for that, and I emailed Enoch, and, they were like, well, they should be in the thing that the thing came in. I'm like, yeah, but I lost the thing and burned the thing that the thing came in. So,
send them a picture of your car.
So I'm like, can I buy some? I asked if I could buy some, and I said, or does Brownells have these? And they said, no, you can't get these at Brownells. But I'll send you a couple. And so they actually sent me 2, and I got them right here, brand new in the envelope. Don't want to lose them. But I'm going to get that put together and function test it and get that one going. So that should be fun. Other than that, did see some ammo out here, 9mm, 45, 223, and one of the farm stores out here. They were limited in 1 box per caliber per person. So you could buy like all 3 of those calibers.
That's where you could having 5 kids, so you can buy 7 boxes on every trip.
Yeah. Actually, they probably would sell ammo to kids out here.
Yeah, to a kid. Yeah. Just give him a note that said, "This is for my dad."
Right.
That's how we used to buy cigarettes and stuff.
Yeah. So anyways, that's kind of cool that I can still, I didn't even buy any because I'm pretty stocked up because I threw everything in this other cabinet where all my ammo's in one spot now, and I actually know I have ammo, so that's cool. Other than that, let's get into listener feedback. We got 2 here. You want to read the first one?
Yeah, I kind of forgot about it, but this is from Tara. She says, "Hi, Jake and Zach. I'm an amateur. Used to shoot when I was younger with my grandpa, dad, and brother. Fast forward 20 years, and I'm a noob again. It's not like riding a bike. Nothing is familiar to me. Looking into purchasing my first firearm of my own, debating on a Springfield XD and a Glock 19. Well, this will be easy. Pros and cons. Just looking for a good shooting range gun and something comfortable for women. I shoot pretty well with a Glock 17 now, but I think I would be more comfortable and accurate with something slightly smaller. Any insight would be great. Not that I can even find a Glock 19. I guess there's a con. Also, what is the Glock of rifles? I would like something basic, easy to use and maintain. I love listening to you guys, whether I'm running errands, driving, cleaning, cooking, etc. I've already learned some good stuff." So I think she's basically asking what's Jake's pick versus Zach's pick, and she already named them pretty much, probably.
No, I'm not going to pick a Springfield. I just had my buddy here in South Dakota that he's one of the local gun guys, and he emailed or texted me. He's like, "Hey, what about this?" I was trying to find it here. I can't find it. What about the Springfield? What's the new compact Springfield? What's it called?
Hellcat?
The Hellcat. Yeah. He's like, "What do you think about the Hellcat?" He's like, "I really like it. It seems to fit well in my hand and everything." I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, "Here's a down low on it." Basically, I'm like, "It's a pretty good gun, but I would never buy a Springfield again." But I currently carry a Springfield.
Here, let me put my hypocrite hat on.
Well, I think either of those are great guns. Not looking at the politics of the companies or anything, because people can hate Glock because of their politics and business too, for different reasons. But really, the Springfield and the Glock, they're both, and throw in the Smith & Wessons too, or SIGs, any of those name brands, you're really not going to go wrong. It's what works best for you. And she already said she's been shooting the Glock 17 comfortably and everything. And so, yeah, I think the 19 is probably the direction she should maybe try out, see if she can rent one or borrow one and try it out.
I'm going to do a variation on that answer. So she's saying that the 17 is fine, but she might want something slightly smaller. Now, I don't know if she means slightly smaller in height or length or grip girthiness. I'm guessing girthiness of the grip. And really, all of the standard size Glocks are not going to help you in that situation. The 19s are the same size circumference as a 17, but I think there's a really good case to be made with a Glock 48 or a Glock 43X with the Shield 15 round mags in them, because what you get with the 19 is that 15 rounds, but you can get that in single stack with the aftermarket magazines. Unfortunately, right now you picked the worst time in possibly history to try to buy guns.
That's why I told my buddy that's looking at guns.
I mean, you saw the stat. I don't know if you saw the stats, but they said 5 million new gun owners in 2020, and like 45% women, and like a huge percentage of minorities, and just like it is going to be tough to find one. But I would probably vote for a 43X or a 48, which is the same frame, just different length slides. But I really like my CZ P10 series as well. But and it's got a smaller grip circumference to it as well, and you get the interchangeable back straps and all that jazz. But what I think you really have to think about when you make a gun like this is, you want something that is comfortable, accurate. Pretty much every production gun should be accurate enough for 99.9% of the people. I wouldn't even worry about the accuracy part of it, because like it's probably you and not the gun for most people's scenarios. But I would find something that there is aftermarket support for, that is common enough, like that you can find a holster with ease, and you could find sights with ease, and magazines with ease, and all that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I mentioned all the big brands. I mean, you're going to fall into that category with any of the big brand options. I like your answer better, if this is going to be a carry gun for her. If she's not carrying it, if this is just a home defense safe gun, range gun, then maybe the bigger frame Glocks are the way to go. But if she thinks she's going to actually carry it, I like your answer.
Yeah, I think if she's going to carry it, she should probably, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can go along with that. But, and I think any of the guns, I think the CZ is a little bit tougher on holsters. It becomes it's a lot more common than it was when they first came out. But like, I don't know if I would go with like a Canic or something like that, which are fine guns, but like just the aftermarket accessories are just not there right now. And all those little oddballs like Diamondbacks and all those cheaper guns. I wouldn't even probably do any of those Rugers either. There's so many Ruger models that you can get and they're fine guns, but just getting all the stuff to personalize it and fit it to you might be more of a challenge compared to finding a more common platform to start with.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Rugers are common enough, but yeah, the CZs and the a lot of those other brands, the Canics, however you say it.
I don't know.
Definitely, you know, I mean, and in Terror, the problem is you ask any gun guy and he's going to give you a different answer on any of this. So,
well, and it's colored by our bias too. And I would find what's supported in your local area the most too, you know, that does play a part of it. What about the Glock of rifles? What would you say for that?
Well, I traditionally, I would have always said AR-15, the AR-15 man, but really I've come to realize the Glock of rifles really is a Ruger 1022.
Yeah, just not really a defensive caliber per se.
She didn't say anything about defensive in this whole thing, did she though?
No, she didn't. She said something basic, easy to use and maintain. So yeah, the 1022 would do it. I would almost go bolt action because 1022s can be a little bit finicky. That's the only thing I'm a little worried there.
Well, so I guess to me, when she says Glock or rifles, I think of aftermarket support and all that. So to me, it would be either a 1022 or an AR-15. Like, what bolt action would you steer? Because I don't know what bolt action is the have the Glock aftermarket support of the rifle world.
Yeah, that's tough. I guess I wasn't looking at it in aftermarket support. I was thinking Glock is like a very basic looking gun that just works and you don't have to think about it. You pull the trigger and it works. That's where I was coming from. Aftermarket support is a valid point. Ruger makes bolt actions that use 1022 mags. That's part of it. That'd be good. But yeah, I can see if we're going after aftermarket, 1022 makes the most sense. AR-15 is, a gold standard. I even think something like a Ruger American centerfire bolt action rifle. Like if you want something that is just dead simple, there is actually quite a bit of support for the Ruger American series now as well. Mm-hmm. But those are cheap. Like I was looking at all these crazy hunting rifles. Oh, I did buy a new gun, by the way. Yeah, I forgot about that when we were talking. As we were talking, I forgot I did order a Bergara 6.5 Creedmoor.
just a cheap gun. You know, it's easy to forget.
I bought their Ridge SP, which is an 18-inch threaded barrel 6.5 Creedmoor lightweight hunting rifle. So yeah, I did buy that, but I'll let you know when I get that. I totally spaced on it. But anyways, something like that wouldn't be bad. But yeah, 1022 is probably the answer as long as you don't need a defensive caliber. If you need a defensive caliber, I think AR-15 makes a whole lot of sense.
Basic, easy to see. I'm thinking she's more just thinking for plinking though. And if you're plinking, I mean, definitely a 1022 for ammo reasons too.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Well, and even 22 you can't buy right now either. Well, at least I can't order from distributors. Every day I check in-stock ammo at our distributors.
Have you actually looked at store shelves for 22 though? I mean, it is just plentiful wherever I look. I haven't seen any empty shelves of 22 this go around. I think it's all defensive rounds that are selling out.
I have to admit, I think I've turned into like an old curmudgeon because I do not go shopping at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't go into stores. Like I wanted a pair of Solomon boots or shoes, Solomon shoes. I keep reading about them. I was reading the Jack Carr books and like every 2 pages he mentions these damn Solomon shoes. And I was like, I got to get me a pair of these Solomon shoes. And so I went to REI last weekend. I walked in and they got the goofy mask mandate and all that. I'm like, okay, whatever. And they got all these little signs everywhere, everything. I go upstairs and I go to look at these freaking Solomon shoes. They have the whole shoe area roped off and then you can't even walk up to the dang shoes. They have a little person that comes and says, how can I help you? I will go get the shoes for you. And I said, screw you. And I walked right out. I'm like, I am not doing this. You people have gone completely insane.
You
I'm
know
done.
what? Yeah, I don't know if I'll hold this record through this whole thing, because there is stuff I have to buy eventually, but I have still not downed a mask to go in anywhere.
That's good. Your state doesn't have a mandate for it though either. And
yeah, but so many
does.
big retail stores do. You know, all the you know, Walmart's, Menards, all the big home improvement stores. I mean, everything. It's just yeah.
It's ridiculous. But so I think I'm going to go, to your point about the scopes and the ammo and everything, I probably should, maybe I'll do that this weekend, go to like Sportsman's Warehouse, because they sell, the Solomon shoes. They should have it. I can assess the ammo situation and maybe get some eyes behind some optics.
Yeah. And look at, see what 22 is like. I bet they have it, but maybe prove me wrong. I don't know. So
I don't need any right now, but yeah.
No, I'm just curious. So anyways, those shoes, like 2-3 years ago, I got some because everyone was like talking about them, like you say, and I loved them, but like any shoes for me, they last like 6-8 months. So I got them a couple times, but then they got like making them smaller or something. I had 2 or 3 pairs in a row that even after break-in period, I could not get them to not hurt my feet. My feet were constantly hurt after wearing them. And this was after wearing them for like a year solid before that with 2 different pairs. So like they changed like the molds or the manufacturing process or something. And so I can't buy them anymore. I had to get something
You couldn't
else.
go to the next size up?
Well, no, because then they're too long. Like I went to the...
Oh, you need like a wide shoe almost.
Yeah, it's the width and everything. And I was getting the widest, you know, they make the 4 wide or whatever it's called. And even those, I mean, it's just not working. So that was really disappointing for me because I really did like those shoes a lot.
I'm going to have to try them though. That's why I wanted to go at least see them in store, even if I end up buying them online or whatever I do. I wanted to see them. Do you follow Warrior Port Society at all? I know we're running long here, but do you ever watch any of those?
No,
content?
I mean, I have, but not like at regular at all. Nothing like that.
I really like the guy, John Lovell or whatever he is, and he's really charismatic. And he did a video. I kept seeing him. I read all the Jack Carr books and I saw, and then I just happened to see his video and he was like, he did a whole video just on these shoes, like how much he loved these shoes. And I was like, okay, I got to try these shoes now. Like he convinced me. Like I was so successfully sold to. Okay. Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, let me find it. So I was listening to episode 244 and you were talking about the pores. Who are they? What are they? Are you referring to the retired guys shooting Ruger 1911s with Vortex red dot sights? Next time you are in the mid-Maryland, stop by and we'll shoot some old Ruger and Henry guns. Thanks, Francis.
He doesn't know what you drive. Your car won't get to Maryland.
Well, I don't think, you know, I think you said this, the Ruger, any 1911, I don't think that's really a poor man's gun.
Oh, it can be if you have like a Taurus or something, but.
Oh, I forgot Taurus. Yeah, Taurus does make 1911s. Yeah.
I don't even think pores is necessarily a bad thing. It's when people are poor and buy pores guns and then try to justify it to you as if it was just as good. That's what gets my goat.
Well, I think it's more, the pores, when I think about them, it's people whining about either not being able to afford like a better gun or being proud of their junk that doesn't work, while refusing to buy a better gun. It's more of a mindset.
Yeah, there's no shame in owning junk. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but don't try to convince me that it's not junk. Just be happy that you have something and be content with it being junk. There's nothing wrong with it. You know how many, I mean, you know me for so long, like how many guns I've owned over the years that I was super proud of at the time, but I knew what it was. Like it's, if I look back at it today, it was junk, but it was my junk.
That's how I feel about my cars.
Yeah, you're just like a decade behind in growth. Your development cycle's a little off, that's all. You haven't adulted yet.
No, I'm in midlife crisis. I bought an 80s Japanese sports car. Two-seater sports car.
Yeah, well, actually, you might be ahead and already are going back in the loop because you bought a brand new car like a decade before I bought a brand new car, and then now you're back to the cheap cars. So maybe I'll get there too.
Yeah, you just stop caring after so long. Long as it gets you where you're going.
Well, you have an excuse too because you don't ever have to leave the house. You don't have a job that's 75 miles round trip.
Yeah, well, I built that by design.
I know. I'm not saying it was bad. I think it's a good thing you did that. It worked for you. I'm just not in that same situation.
All right. And to round out our emails is we got a slew of marketing interview request emails. I forward a lot of these to Zack. Some are pretty funny, but
I just laugh.
Yeah. It's like, I got this tactical end of the world book coming out. Can you interview me or interview my client? Or there's this terrible movie we got coming out. Can you? Yeah. It's kind of funny. All of them.
Well, and the sad part is people are paying publicists to do this work, and I wonder how many people are biting on it. It's
almost never the person themselves. It's almost always a crappy publicist. And there's just so many in the firearms industry that like focus on the firearms stuff only, these publicists. And I don't know. I used to deal with them for some interviews and stuff, and it just really awful is what it comes down to. Because, yeah, I don't know, if you're not in it to win it, like promoting yourself out there and just phoning it in with a publicist, I don't see that you're going anywhere.
Maybe we need to flip the script on them and say, hey, we're looking for a publicist to blow up our brand of Gun Guy Radio, and you get us cross promotion.
Oh, I get those too. Or hey, we see you have this blog / website / podcast / could you run these posts and we'll pay you $5,000 a month to run these posts or something.
Wait, you're holding out $5,000 a month on me? We could be making money? What the hell?
It's not real, Zack. It's not real.
Okay.
All right, so Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Possibly the only thing that's profitable around here.
For you.
Hey, I send you a patch every month. What are you talking about?
You do, and I appreciate it.
Don't worry, I'll get to your YouTube links and Range Hunt articles here. Anyways, you can check out Patriot Patch Company, the Patch of the Month Club, which I will still be sending Zack. Very awesome September Patch of the Month. So check it out, patriotpatch.co. Also have a bunch of brand new designs in stock. I think we released like a dozen new designs in the last, month and a half. So check it out, patriotpatch.co. And then,
a pinup one. Those are good.
Yeah, we got a new pinup girl, Betty Bazooka, and we have a Russian counterpart coming along soon. I'm hoping that comes out in the next few weeks or so. That one's going to be cool. But anyways, if you need graphic design, check out Hunter Design. Ryan Cross, he does all the great design for Patriot Patch Company, but he has his own company where he can help you with websites. If you need your business logo redone or just spruced up, check it out. hunterofdesign.com. He can get you set up. And Zack, where can people connect with you online?
Oh, just go over to YouTube and type in Zack Carlson Writer and you'll see my channel there. I actually have a couple of videos that I've uploaded, but just never did the publish button on it. I need to go back and add those. I'm slacking on my stuff. And then Range Shot, I haven't done anything in a while, but you can go over there and click all the links and I'll get some sweet affiliate money from it.
Yeah, click Zack's affiliate links.
Yeah, buy something.
You can send us email at gunguyradio@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, for sending in feedback and leaving us reviews. Don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. That's a wrap. Thank you, Zack.
Thank you. See ya.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.